Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. It's my pleasure to have with us here today Daniel Solin. He's authored the smartest 401k book you'll ever read. Maximize your retirement savings the smart way. Daniel, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Kurt, very nice to be with you.
Good, good. Thanks for being here. What are the new rules for investment, for retirement, if you will?
Well, the new rules are you stick to the old rules because what works is having the right asset allocation for you, meaning that you know how much of your assets you're going to invest in stocks, how much you're going to invest in bonds.
Right.
Those rules don't change as the markets ebb and flow because investors should be in it for the long term. If they're not in it for the long term, they shouldn't be exposed to any market risk.
Sure, sure. Now, my financial advisor, I've had him for, nearly 20 years now, Daniel. And I don't know. You always hear this, and he doesn't necessarily advocate this, but stay the course, stay the course. Do we need to stay the course anymore? Because there's other financial products that are out there. ETFs became very popular. Mutual funds kind of fell out of favor. But what are some good tools for retirement?
Well, we need to stay the course in terms of asset allocation, but you may want to change the mix of your investments, not to respond to the volatility in the market, but because what most people are doing doesn't make any sense. Most people, with the advice of, I don't know about your financial advisor, but most financial advisors are telling you they can pick stocks or actively manage funds or hot fund managers. There's just no evidence to support that. Investors should be in low-cost, broadly diversified index funds, and they should be paying a lot of attention to the cost of those funds. Over the long term, index funds will outperform actively managed funds. There really is no valid reason why anybody is in any actively managed fund. That, of course, makes brokers and financial advisors very upset because that's how they make their living.
Sure, they make it on the percentages or load, if you will, right?
Well, that's right. Yes, we don't want our people in load funds or high expense ratio funds or any funds that have a manager who's sitting there with his analyst saying, "I think I can figure out the market."
Right. All right. So not a lot of people are stock savvy though. They make their money. And a lot of times it's through their employer. They put it in the 401k plan. They have no idea. They're just hoping for the best. And sometimes they end up in these loaded funds. I know you say that's not a great place to be, but let's say they end up there. What is an acceptable load percentage in your opinion if somebody ends up in a loaded fund?
Well, the average expense ratio for actively managed funds is 1.5% a year.
Yeah.
The average expense ratio for index funds is 0.25% a year.
Okay.
So if you don't have, and it's unfortunate that many 401k plans, for a lot of reasons, don't have index funds in them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be stuck with an actively managed fund, look for the ones with the lowest expense ratios.
All right. Now, why is it that you can't find a lot of index funds in the places you want them to be, like you just mentioned?
Well, it's a great question. It's because the system is rigged against employees. Companies aren't willing to pay for the administrative costs of the plan, so they basically, in my view, sell out their employees by saying to fund families or advisors, you pick up those costs, and in exchange, we'll let you pick the funds. The fund families and advisors say to other fund families, if you guys want to play in our sandbox, namely, if you want to be an option in our plan, you got to kick back part of your revenues to us. So there are all these conflicts and kickbacks and payoffs, and the employee is the one left holding the bag. Yeah,
that's not good. And you know what, though? But some companies, don't they have to be fiscally responsible or savvy, if you will, on their bottom line? And some of them, you can't blame them or begrudge them for not wanting to pay those additional fees to get involved in some of these index funds, right?
Well, there are no additional fees to get involved in index funds, but they may they can either pick up the administrative costs or they could charge it to the plan. But companies that are enlightened and really care about the well-being of their employees understand that financial health for employees is as important as medical and physical health, so they should have the best possible plan for employees. Congress has a great plan, tsp.gov. Congress, members of the government, great plan. All index funds, all target retirement funds.
Sure. All right. Now, it's highly reported that if Obama is elected into office, that he plans on raising taxes on capital gains. How is this going to affect 80% of Americans that are out there with their 401k plans, plus all their other things? Is that true? Is that how it's going to work?
Well, I don't know what his. I have read that it shouldn't affect 401k plans because 401k plans are tax-deferred plans, so it won't have any immediate impact. But what very few people seem to understand is when you take money out of your 401k, it's taxed at ordinary income rates.
Right.
So you have to worry about, well, what are the ordinary income rates going to be when I'm taking out, my assets from my 401k plan?
Plus, in addition to early penalty fees, right?
Whether early, if you take it out before you're 59 and a half, you're going to be double taxed. You're going to be taxed at ordinary income rates, and you're going to be hit for a 10% penalty.
All right. What are several good examples to beat the pros? You write about it in the book.
Well, to beat the pros, what you want to do within and outside of a plan, and obviously it's easier outside of a plan, like if you were to get a Roth IRA, or even a traditional IRA. Now you're not constrained by the options in the plan. So that's one way you can open an account with Vanguard and buy their low-cost. Vanguard's the leader in low-cost index funds.
Right.
So you don't have to play by the 401k rules. You can kind of set up your own pension plan. If you're ready to retire, you could take a lump sum or have a tax-free transfer and get an immediate annuity, which can be very good investments for people.
Nice. All right. So should we be looking at alternative or traditional retirement plans? Maybe even a mix of two, Daniel, or both?
I think we should. I think the way it should work for most investors is, as bad as these 401k plans are, until Congress decides to step in and do something about them. I think most people should invest the minimum amount necessary to get the maximum employer match. If there's no employer match, I wouldn't invest in a 401k plan. But once you do that, then start looking at maxing out your Roth IRA, which is tax avoidance, not tax deferral. It's a great plan.
Right.
After that, you invest with your own personal assets. That's kind of the three-pronged test.
Okay. All right. Now, where can we find the book at?
The book is the smartest 401k book you'll ever read. It's at bookstores everywhere and online everywhere.
All right. The smartest 401k book you'll ever read. And do you have a website, Daniel?
I do. smartestinvestmentbook.com, where you can go and take a free asset allocation questionnaire.
Oh, awesome. Head on over there today. Our viewers and listeners love free, Daniel. Thanks for being on today. Of course, we have book author Daniel Solin. He's with us. The smartest 401k book you'll ever read. Daniel, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Kurt.
You're more than welcome. All right, head on over to Daniel's site too. Sounds like it's awesome, and I'd give it a spin. No charge, won't cost you anything. You get some good information over there. All right.